Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Oklahoma City. And this is the first episode of the Brewer Breakdown. And I'm very excited about this show. We're going to be talking a lot about the Oklahoma State Cowboys, the Oklahoma Sooners, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially when basketball season rolls around. But college football has started. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both pick up wins week 1. And we're going to break it all down. I want to start off with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They picked up a win over UT Martin, 27-7 on Thursday night. And I will say the Cowboys look a lot better than they did last year. And if you're an Oklahoma State fan, that is a real plus. Because last year was just miserable. 3-9, 0-9 in conference, and your quarterback was one-dimensional. And Alan Bowman, you know, as great of a quarterback as he is, he was one-dimensional. Couldn't run outside the pocket. But y'all picked up two quarterbacks who can run the ball and scramble and get out of tight situations when needed. And I feel like the overall trajectory for Oklahoma State looks a lot better than last year. So the 1.5 this year for Oklahoma State is 5.5, and I think that they will suppress and go over 5.5 after what I saw last night on the offensive side of the ball, because that was the side that just looked absolutely putrid. And I'm looking at the stats over here for Oklahoma State. Third down efficiency, 10 of 18. Fourth down efficiencies, 1 of 1. 359 passing yards. Or, I'm sorry, that's not passing yards. Total yards to UT Martin's 225. So overall, the passing game was a lot better. And but passing, they had 232. So that was a lot better. 18 of 30 and yards per pass, 7.7 yards. So a lot better there. No turnovers, and that's really good. The one area that I think OSU kind of needs to work on, overall rushing defense, and the same thing for Oklahoma in my mind is rushing defense. But we'll talk about OU here in a second. Rushing defense is going to be kind of the main topic for both teams, but for Oklahoma State, it felt like a lot of rush yards were given up, a lot more than against the UT Martin squad that really you shouldn't be giving up that many to. But again, it is week 1, so always going to be room for improvement, and I'm sure a lot of folks on the OU side of things are saying the same thing as well. But overall, OSU looked a lot more. They looked more well organized than they were a year ago. So I feel a lot better about this team than I did a year ago, and so that gives me a lot of hope. Now, do I think they're going to go into Eugene, Oregon, and beat Oregon next week? No, I do not think that. But I do think that they will make it a little bit more competitive than if they had rolled last year's team into Eugene. I think it will be a lot better. Let's go ahead and switch over. Let's talk about Oklahoma real quick. Oklahoma beat Illinois State last night, 35-3, in a game that, if you're an OU fan, you're excited. I am beyond excited. You cannot be more excited about Oklahoma than you just can't be more excited than you are right now, because we actually have a quarterback who could throw the ball. And no offense to Jackson Arnold, but the dude cannot make plays when we needed him the most. And John Mateer can. And we almost had 500 yards last night in a game in which we played very vanilla. And that's kind of been the term that has been used a lot today. It's just been, we played vanilla, which we kind of did. But at the same time, we threw for 392 yards. We rushed for 103. If there's one critique that I'm sure a lot of fans are saying right now, is that the run block, the blocks on the offensive line for the run game have got to start opening up. We've got to be able to run the ball better. But overall, it actually looked pretty good, and our offense looked pretty good throwing the ball. John Mateer looked really, really comfortable, looked really good. Deion Burks actually had a really good game. And Torrey Blaylock, that is going to be a name that we're going to be talking a lot about because he looked phenomenal last night. And just overall, I love the way this team looks. I love how complimentary it feels on both sides of the ball. It doesn't feel like we have to rely on one side of the ball to win us a game. And it feels like both sides can just kind of, it feels complete. It feels very complimentary, and I really love that about this team. And I feel like that gives me a lot of hope going into this season, especially when we do play Michigan and we do play Texas and we do play the rest of our SEC schedule, because this is the hardest schedule in the country. So I'm really looking forward to Oklahoma and what they are going to bring to the table this year, because they look so much better than offensively than they did a year ago. So I am really excited about that. And in 10.6 yards per pass, that's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous numbers, and I'm really excited about that. That made me really happy as an OU fan. So with that being said, OU takes on Michigan next week, 6:30 on ABC, and OSU plays the Oregon Ducks next week, 2:30 on CBS. We will preview those games later this week, and we will recap next week. So looking forward to that. So much more to talk about. And again, thank you guys for joining. I will see you next week.